So welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we'll be taking a look at the CHEAP60. This CHEAP60 is a gasket mounted keyboard with a stacked acrylic design. So this keyboard is actually really famous in China and especially on Taobao for being very cheap. And I want to say a huge thank you to Novi.Malaysia for actually sending over this CHEAP60 kit. So on their store it goes for around 300 ringgit, that's for the base price, and you can add on other stuff if you want to. But do check them out, links in the description below. They have a lot of stuff on their Shopee, and if you have any mechanical keyboard needs, the one like switches, stabilizers, or even keyboard kits, do check them out at Novi.Malaysia on Shopee. By the way, one more thing before I actually start the video, I'm actually doing a keycaps giveaway currently on my Instagram, so all the rules to the giveaway will be down in the description below. Head over to my Instagram at @itsamueltan to actually enter the GMK Striker clones giveaway. So this is the box of the CHEAP60. Again, this is sent over by Novi.Malaysia. Honestly, it came really well packaged and everything inside is perfectly secure. Opening up the box, you can actually see that there is a whole lot of stuff. So let me just organize all of it and tell you guys one by one what this kit is. So I would say that there is 4 main parts to this kit. So over here you have everything from all the foam you'll be using for the keyboard, like all the plate foam, all the pour-on foam, and some of the gasket strips. Of course you'll be using for the keyboard build in this corner, so this is one of the things you'll be getting. And of course you also get a bag of screws and all of the stuff you'll be needing to assemble this keyboard. Another thing is all of the builds or the acrylics for this. So you do get an acrylic stand with this, and there's a lot of acrylic components for the keyboard itself as for the stacked acrylic design. Another thing you get with the kit is of course the PCB. So this PCB right here is hot swap, and it's 5-pin hot swap, and it has north facing RGB LEDs, which is quite decent. And of course this keyboard right here is actually compatible with QMK and VIS software. Really nice PCB. So I started assembling this CHEAP60 keyboard by removing all of the stickers of the acrylic bits and pieces. Do remember that there are these brown sheets of paper you need to remove, and there are also some translucent plastic that I almost forgot to remove. So remove all of them, and then you should start from everything with a clear acrylic look. So if you're interested in the full build video, actually check the links down in the description below or their Shopee page. They have a full tutorial on how to build this keyboard, but this is how I did mine very quickly. So for the feet, I just took these 4 pieces. One is flat, one with a notch, and one with 2 screw holes, and another flat one. Now you're going to also need all of these components. So 2 long rods to screw in the base all together, and then those 2 little screws or 2 little hex to actually hold in the screws when you want to assemble it to the case. All you have to do is screw everything together, and it should look like this, and do the same thing for the other side. After you have both of the legs assembled, you can just put it onto the base and then take some medium-sized screws and then screw them all together. After screwing everything together, I would recommend using the non-slip feet right here to actually hold the feet in place and make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So after finishing the bottom part, I moved on to the top part. All I did was took this frosted acrylic piece right here and took all of these standoffs and actually screwed them into place, and it should look like this. This will hold the whole keyboard in place. So after finishing out everything, we can put it aside, and then we can move on to the plate. So for the plate, all you have to do is actually just get these gasket strips and place them properly. You want them to fit well so it won't interfere with anything in the case. And I also cut out some gasket strips to actually fit the top part here for the Type-C port, so nothing gets in the way. This is how it looks like with all the gasket strips on. It should look pretty nice. So after that, we can now move on to the stabilizers. The stabilizers I'll be using today are some PCB mounted steps sent over by Novi.Malaysia. So these are some male 5 steps right here. These are pretty nice in my opinion. And I'll be using some 205 grade 0. These are some GPL 205 grade 0 to actually loop them and holy mount them. So what I'm going to do is just holy mount them. So I'm going to cut out this piece of film, put them into the hole where the wire always goes to. Loop the stem. Loop the housing. And then of course we put everything together, and before we put the wires in, we want to use a generous amount of loop. So put it all together, and all you have to do is just repeat the process for all the steps you want to use. So I have wholly mounted all of my stabilizers. Now we can put it onto the plate. But before I actually put it on, I'll be using this film or this sheet right here with all the cutouts. So this will work like the PE foam to make the keyboard sound a little bit more poppier. So putting in the steps are actually quite easy. All you have to do is put them into the correct holes and then screw them all together. This is how the PCB should look like with all of the stabilizers in. So after the steps, I put on this pour-on foam with all of the cutouts so it will fit, and then I put the flexi plate on top of that. So for the switches right here, I'll be using some Gateron Black Ink V2s. So these are already looped with 205 grade 0 GPL, and they are also film, so this will sound really nice and they are super smooth. Really like these switches, they have a really stealthy look, and for me they sound quite nice. So this is how it currently looks like with all the switches in. Honestly, it fits pretty nice. I think it fit this theme quite okay. And this is how it looks like with the RGB on. So the shine through is quite nice. It doesn't really affect the RGB lighting. So for the keycaps of this keyboard, I'll be using some GMK Striker clones right here. So these are some PBT die sub GMK Striker clones, as I said. Pretty nice color, and they are sent over by DIYKeycap.com. And by the way, if you want to win these keycaps, do check out my Instagram. I'm currently running a giveaway for them. And this is how the keyboard looks like with all of the keycaps now in. It looks really nice with this blue. I honestly quite like these GMK Striker keycaps. So after doing everything, we can now assemble the whole keyboard together. This is the way I do it, but there's a lot of other ways because it's just stacked acrylic. How I do it is I take the top frosted part, stack them all together, put in this PCB right here, and then hold the bottom in place and put in one piece of poron foam and screw everything back together. So after assembling it, I did notice that the poron foam was actually getting in the way of the RGB on the bottom, and I didn't think that it helped the acoustic at all. So I actually removed the poron foam and then just used it like this, so the underglow RGB is pretty nice on this keyboard. So with everything done, this is how the keyboard looks like. Honestly, I think it's looking pretty nice right now. We can now move on to the typing sound test. So honestly, after the typing sound test and after using it for a few days, I think that this keyboard right here is quite okay. Honestly, for the price, you're getting a lot for 300 ringgit, but it can sound much better if you do a lot more mods to it. Me personally, I quite like how the sound signature is. It's not that loud and not that talky at all. It's kind of a more quieter keyboard in my opinion. Overall, the build quality and the experience of this keyboard is pretty nice, especially with the support with QMK. You can customize this keyboard to the way you want it to be. And the 64% layout or 64 key layout is really nice in my opinion. You still get to keep the arrow keys and the delete key, and that is a plus in my books. So that was it for the CHEAP60 mechanical keyboard kit build. Honestly, the sound quality at the end of the video was decent. It wasn't as good as the PG67. If you're interested in a more poppier gasket mounted keyboard, you can check out that video. But honestly, for this price, for around 300 ringgit for the CHEAP60, especially at a smaller form factor, I think it's a good option. And if you mount it properly to your liking, honestly, the quality is quite okay and it will serve you decently as well. So again, I want to say a huge thank you to Novi.Malaysia for sending this over. I really had a good time. A huge thank you for them for everything. This video wouldn't be done without them. So do check them out, links in the description below. And before I actually end this video, if you want to join the giveaway for the GMK Striker clones I used in this video, do check them out. The giveaway will be on my Instagram at @itsamueltan. So that is it for this video, guys. So if you like this video, leave a like, dislike this video if you didn't like it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I have more mechanical keyboard content and tech stuff like this coming very soon. As always, thanks for watching. Goodbye, guys.